thinks Green Bay is a magical place.
A death investigation in the village of Bellevue.
Green Bay, Wisconsin. A city celebrated for its football pride and close-knit charm. The kind of place where families barbecue in their backyards, kids ride bikes down suburban streets, and neighbors still wave to one another. Safety was a given. But in May 2016, that sense of security was violently shattered.
She connected to us on a level that most teachers don't. She wanted to be there and help us.
Why it took him so long to call police or even friends and family after Nicole Vanderheiden did not come home the night she went missing.
A young mother, known for her laughter and light, vanished into the night, and what followed would shake the community to its core. A night out, Nicole Vanderheiden, lovingly called Nikki by friends and family, was 31 years old and full of life. She was a devoted mother to 3 children, including a baby boy, Dylan, whom she shared with her boyfriend, Doug Dietrich. Nikki loved nature, laughter, and music. Her life wasn't perfect, but she was trying, juggling motherhood, love, and personal dreams. She lived in Bellevue, a small suburb just outside Green Bay, with Doug. They had met in 2015, moved in quickly, and were still adjusting to life as new parents. Like many couples, they had their ups and downs, but there was no mistaking Nikki's devotion to her family. On May 20th, 2016, Nikki and Doug decided to take a rare night off from parenting duties. They arranged a babysitter for baby Dylan and headed to the Watering Hole, a local bar, to catch a concert with friends. For Nikki, who rarely drank, it was a night to unwind. But as the evening wore on, tensions surfaced. Doug stayed behind chatting with friends while Nikki, feeling ignored, left with others to another bar, the Sardine Can. She sent Doug a flurry of texts, ranging from frustrated to furious. The tone was unmistakable. She felt abandoned and angry. By 11:30 p.m., Nikki had had enough. Despite pleas from friends to stay or get a ride, she stormed off alone into the night. It would be the last time anyone saw her alive. The next afternoon, a farmer named Richard Vanderheiden was out walking his land near Ledgeview when he spotted something strange in a field. At first, he thought it was a deer, but as he got closer, his stomach turned. It was a body, naked except for a pair of socks and a pink wristband. The woman's face was battered, bruised. Her blonde hair was matted with blood. There was no ID, no purse, but police immediately suspected it might be Nikki Vanderheiden. She hadn't come home and Doug had just reported her missing hours earlier. Officers rushed to the couple's home. What they found was troubling. Blood on the sidewalk near the property, blonde hair clumps near the road, a cell phone cord tangled near the curb. In the garage, a pair of blood-smeared Air Jordans, bloodstains in Nikki's car. It all pointed to one thing: violence. And the primary suspect? Doug Dietrich, the boyfriend. Doug was quickly brought in for questioning. He admitted to drinking that night and losing track of Nikki. His story was fragmented, emotional. He denied any involvement in her disappearance or death, but the evidence stacking up didn't look good. There was motive. Nikki had accused him of cheating. There was opportunity. He was home when she would have arrived. And there was the physical evidence. Doug was arrested and held on a $1 million bond. But then, something unexpected happened. Doug had been wearing a Fitbit that night, one of those fitness trackers that log steps and heart rate. Investigators pulled the data and analyzed it closely. The results? His Fitbit showed almost no movement from 3 a.m. onward, consistent with his claim that he was home checking on the baby. And those bloodstains in the garage? Not human. The DNA on the shoes? Inconclusive. Bit by bit, the case against Doug unraveled. 18 days after his arrest, prosecutors dropped all charges. Doug Dietrich walked free. DNA testing from Nikki's clothing and body had returned a hit, a partial profile of an unidentified male. In August 2016, a full DNA profile from one of Nikki's socks finally gave investigators a name: George Stephen Birch. He was a 6'7", 250-pound drifter from Virginia. Recently arrived in Green Bay, Birch was staying with a friend and working odd jobs. His criminal record was long and checkered, and he had a disturbing reputation. When police asked him about a recent hit and run involving his red Chevy Blazer, Birch voluntarily handed over his phone. That was his mistake. Investigators accessed Google Dashboard, a little-known tool that logs every move a user makes via GPS. What they found was damning. On the night Nikki disappeared, Birch's phone pinged at several critical locations. 2:30 a.m., near Nikki's house 3 a.m., in the field where her body was discovered 4 a.m., near the off-ramp where her clothes were found 4:20 a.m. Home. The GPS trail followed the same horrifying path Nikki had taken in her final moments. In September 2016, George Birch was arrested and charged with the murder of Nicole van der Heijden. The trial of George Birch. In February 2018, nearly 2 years after Nikki's death, the murder trial of George Birch began. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, grieving family, curious residents. Everyone wanted answers. The prosecution laid out a timeline built with science. Birch's DNA on Nikki's clothing, his phone tracking his movements to every key location. The evidence was chilling, but the defense had a shocking twist. George Birch admitted to being with Nikki that night. He claimed they met at a bar, flirted, and ended up together. He gave her a ride home, and they parked outside. There, he said, they began having consensual sex in the back of his SUV. Then, according to him, everything changed. He said he was suddenly struck in the head. When he woke up, Doug Dietrich was standing over him with a gun. Doug, furious, had discovered them. Birch claimed Doug forced him to load Nikki's lifeless body into the vehicle, drive it to the field, dump it, and flee. The story stunned the courtroom, but it didn't hold up. The cross-examination prosecutor, David Lacey, went to work dismantling Birch's narrative piece by piece. Why would a jealous boyfriend let a complete stranger live? He asked. Birch shrugged. I don't know. Why not call 911 afterward? I didn't want to die, Birch answered. Lacey then held up photos. Nikki's pants, ripped and dirty. Her socks, the only thing left on her body. Her tangled hair, found across the field. Her body bore signs of a brutal struggle. This isn't what a consensual encounter looks like, Lacey told the jury. Then came the fatal blow. Doug's Fitbit and Birch's Google data told different stories. Doug had barely moved. Birch had traveled the murder path exactly. And Birch's red SUV, found burned in a suspicious fire just weeks after the murder. The noose was tightening. The verdict on March 1st, 2018, after days of testimony, the jury returned. Guilty. George Stephen Birch was convicted of first-degree intentional homicide. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without parole. Nicole's family wept, tears of sadness, of relief, of justice finally served. Nikki's 3 children will grow up without the warmth of their mother, a loss that no amount of justice can ever truly heal. Her absence will echo in birthdays, graduations, and quiet moments when a mother's love is needed most. Yet, in her short life, Nikki left behind more than just memories. She left a legacy of strength, resilience, and joy that touched everyone who knew her. She was not just a victim. She was a bright light, a dedicated mother, and a woman whose spirit refused to be broken, even in her final days. Her tragic end, the next, the world can be turned upside down by betrayal, violence, or a single reckless decision. Nikki's story has become more than just a headline. It has become a symbol of how precious and vulnerable life truly is. For those who loved her, every detail of her case is a painful puzzle piece in a narrative they never wanted to be part of. But for the world watching, it is a call to never take life for granted and to cherish the people closest to us before it's too late. Yet amid the sorrow, there is also a glimmer of justice. What seemed like an unsolvable mystery was finally cracked not by luck, but by determination and a small piece of everyday technology. A simple wristband and a phone, items most people use without a second thought, became silent witnesses to the truth. They didn't just hold data. They held Nikki's final moments, her heartbeat, her movement, her silence. In the digital traces she left behind, investigators found answers. Answers that revealed deception, exposed a killer, and freed a man wrongly accused. Justice may have taken time, and the pain may never fully fade, but Nikki's story proves one thing. Truth doesn't stay buried forever. If her story moved you, help keep her light alive. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Last Known Truth.